Namaste, angels. This reading is for one of my repeat clients, long time, her divine masculine readings, energy healing, all of that. But even still, I don't remember like the zodiacs and stuff. I think she's a Taurus, actually. Maybe that's part of why we're doing this now, this reading now. I don't remember the masculine, although I'm feeling. I'm like torn between air and water. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're just going to go in and do a fresh reading. I always pull really, really beautiful cards for this couple. And, you know, true to that, I'm beginning with Moon Tree, which is a card of sacred marriage. And open to meditation. Moon Tree. And answer prayer, which is about air and water for me in a lot of ways. As you can see, all the puffs of white smoke, the air, also the star on this woman's, over this woman's throat chakra, and the big butterfly here over her solar plexus, you know, are like Aquarius and Scorpio for me. Moon Tree. And balance, another card of air and water. They were also showing me the mystic, which can be air and water too. Again, Aquarius, most specifically, as it relates to air at least, with this star over the third eye chakra. But all this blue, all this white, and same thing here. This guy's got these spheres, these little circles over each communication center, like throat chakra, third eye chakra, crown chakra, and then this woman in, you know, all different shades of blue, who's like nurturing him. The balance card is like a restoration to healing for me, bringing back the yin and yang. It's sort of like temperance from the traditional tarot, sacred marriage. And back to the mystic. So on that note, I will cut the mystic, sort of like the high priestess. Right, about the need to pay close attention to our intuition and watch for syncs, signs, follow them, follow the guidance that we receive. Speaking of the guidance, follow it. Yes, it's always available to us. It is infinite, as this, you know, infinity symbol-like thing represents. And the moon is feminine energy. The moon represents femininity, but also more specifically to me, feminine energy of surrender. So it's like seeking the guidance, receiving it, and then we have to surrender and actually like listen and follow it. And the overall energy is retreat, which is representative for me of air and earth. Again, I believe from memory that she is a Taurus. But yeah, I'm not sure about him, but he may be an air sign, as I was feeling. I was feeling air, I was feeling water. More Aquarius specifically, but of course any air sign. And this card is about not only the need to meditate, but to do so, you know, in nature and with nature and through nature, wherever and whenever possible. You know, if we live in an area that's conducive to doing any of this, spending time alone in thought outside, then we should. This is the overall energy for this reading, for this spread. The divine feminine about herself, the masculine as it relates to her, about himself, and the union as a whole. Overall, what the masculine would have the feminine do toward the union, what he himself is willing to, what the universe would have the two do in the outcome. Feminine, gateway. So she's been, you know, it's like she's made such tremendous strides and does continue to sort of pass through these, you know, like over the threshold of into a new era, ever so often. And like she can feel it. We talk about it, you know, she'll say, I went through this, I went through that, and now I'm experiencing, you know, these new things I hadn't before. I'm having these dreams, I'm seeing these signs, I'm seeing these colors, you know, all kinds of different things. So this is connected to her progress from what I can feel. Continued progress. The masculine as it relates to the feminine. Fear. Oh, he's still here in this kind of space. I'm glad we get to see it though. Fear. I hate that though, because you know, we've felt and seen, even though there's been separation for a while now. I felt strides from him as well. And that even some that's shown through her, because when the energy changes, you know, we feel different too. We're able to feel different. Even when I do energy healing on a person, it affects the other person, the other party in the couple. And sometimes other people around them too. They're not, you know, part of the union immediately, but other people that are surrounding it, sometimes they get affected too. I'll get called, oh, my mother's acting differently, my father's acting differently. So that's what I mean. There had definitely been evidence of him having sort of left this space. I wonder if he's experienced a new trauma or something new has been brought up to the surface with which he's dealing. Let's see what he's feeling with regard to himself immediately as it relates to her and the union. Eternal flame. So he's still there, at least. He's just afraid. A lot of the same colors in these two cards too. The pink, the orange, the red, the yellow, the blue, the green, all the same colors. This card also connected to fire signs for me too. So he still feels it. He still has the passion burning, but he's afraid. I once had one of my exes tell me basically that he, you know, was not over me, wasn't going to be over me, would always love me, but he felt we could not ever be together because of how, I guess because of how much he was afraid of how much he loved me. Like it's going to get me in trouble. It's going to drive me insane. You know, like I'm going to be that sort of thing. And so sometimes, my point in mentioning that is sometimes, you know, we're afraid of like too much love, even though that sounds insane. That sounds crazy, you know? What's he feeling right now about the union as a whole? I like this. Listening. So those signs and messages and synchronicities and all those things that I started talking about when I began the reading, he is receiving them in connection with this tie. So he knows, if he's not, you know, clear, he has an idea of what's going on, you know, and the fact that there is some sort of connection that is beyond him, and he's listening to it. Of course, this card, another card representative of most specifically air, Aquarius, but air signs, because of the communication. This is still a means of communication. Listening is, you know, part of communication, communicating, and especially if we're communicating telepathically, you know, that is connected to Aquarius for me, in addition to the star, because I consider that electronic communication, since we are electric beings. Overall, Trilogy of Light. Oh, another card of the same colors. I like how he did that, or how his higher self did that. Chose the cards. Very nice. Trilogy of Light for me is about us. There's the healing sirens too. Ever progressing, continuing to make strides and to get better, always in an effort to be nearer and dearer to the universe. You know, so here is the couple and here's the universe, and we're always just trying to improve upon ourselves as individuals and a unit, to reach the level of divinity meant for us, the universe intends. So awesome. The two, even if there is fear present, the two on that same path toward that same outcome is still pretty neat. What would the masculine have the feminine do toward the union? Oh, moon tree is back. So just like basically the same way he's holding on to eternal flame, even though there's this barrier between you, there's an expectation from him upon you that you do the same, basically. Hold on to the sacred marriage. You know that it still exists. Know that the two of you, in his mind and higher self, are part of this trinity. What is he himself willing to do? He's still working on the healing. He's still working on the healing, and that's going to include visiting this inner child and a lot of communication with the universe, a lot of communication, a lot of guidance coming to him. This is more of that electronic communication. These indicators, a star over the throat chakra, a star over the third eye chakra, a star over the crown chakra, all these puffs of air here. This is Aquarius, 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 even if he is not one. This is all this Uranus energy, you know, compelling him to take note and to listen and to revisit inner self. With all this green, there could be Earth coming through here too. And this could be representative not only of the fact that she, as I said, I believe is a Taurus, but Uranus presently in Taurus. That occurred the same day as the moon, the Taurus new moon. And it's going to be there for the next 8 years. So it's a major transit. It's a major shift that is moving us all, you know, into this new place. And a lot of it has to do with like knowledge of self and, you know, furthering this understanding. So again, I just feel that this is totally on path. And I'm happy to see it. What would the universe have the two of you to do? Dreams. This has several meanings. This is continuing to communicate in other means, especially as it sits here atop these two, sharing the same colors as this one. So it's like crowned and rooted in this white, green, blue, purple, a little bit of yellow. But also, in addition to the communication, it is about dreams, plans, making intentions, prayer, right? Asking for things. What are your goals? What are your dreams? And beginning to focus on those too, because those things are going to be things that take root and grow during this Uranus and Taurus period too. It's like a whole new, we're beginning a new era. I use that word era, wittingly when I spoke of this card, but that's what's happening. Stepping into this gateway into this new era here. Outcome. Boom! How do you like Sacred Union sitting next to Moon Tree? I told you I always pull the most beautiful cards for this couple. Moon Tree, Sacred Union, Eternal Flame. Nothing to worry about, even in instances of separation and fear. And when we see fear and the need for healing, we know how to deal with that too. We know what we have to do when there's a need for healing. You know, you don't go to the doctor once if you have a chronic illness. You know, you deal with the chronic illness until it's healed. That's what we're going to do. Let's get a perspective from the universe, beginning with communication. Okay, this can also be attached to all the communication that we saw a moment ago. The divine guidance, the listening, the dreams, the inner child with, you know, the all the stars, throat chakra, crown chakra, third eye chakra. That was all about communication. This can also be in a literal sense, actually picking up the phone. You know, either one of you, one to the other. Passion, very much like that eternal flame card and the energy of fire signs. Passion. And gifts. Spiritual gifts, certainly. I feel something else could be coming too, though. Something more literal. Maybe I'll get a better understanding of what that might be, a better feeling of what that might be as we go along. Also opening to travel, obviously a card of movement, maybe movement in the area of passion. We could be traveling back, revisiting this passion. Travel, somebody could be actually taking a trip. She could be going away, he could be going away. Maybe closer to one or the other. That's possible. And also opening to true love. So again, in a metaphor, at least in a metaphorical sense, this can be revisiting this situation. In the cut. I love that I record like everything live so you guys can see. And I see for the first time too. When you see for the first time what's coming up in the cards, that's when I see too. But you guys can see energy. Just the reality of it, I guess, is what I'm trying to express. The reality of the energy that surrounds a being or a coupling of beings. I said before I started the reading, before I laid any cards, I always get the most beautiful cards for this couple. And then they appear there. That's because that's the energy that surrounds their union. You know, it's real. It's indisputable. It's real. But everything is energy, and that includes love, right? And love, we would say, is the only thing that's real. So that is that. Just so happy to see that for them. I'm not as happy to see this, but it is what it is. We, you know, again, it's recorded live, so we deal with what pops up. We deal with the real energy of the reading. Control. So someone being manipulated and or a manipulator. And the overall energy is wallflower, which tends, as it relates to the zodiac signs, to represent for me Capricorn, Scorpio, or Gemini. Three signs that for me most would represent the type of person that would be at a party like this, not engaging. But more importantly, the larger message that always comes from this card is that question, or, you know, the statement. If you get the chance and the choice to sit around, letting life pass you by, not engaging, or to dance, I hope you dance. I hope that's what you pick. I hope you pick to be a part of life. There's a saying, I'm a plant-based eater, you know. I don't like to use the term vegan because it gets into a whole bunch of stuff that, you know, which I don't necessarily believe in. And becomes very religious. And I definitely got to stay away from that kind of stuff. Spiritual being, not at all a religious one. But I'm a plant-based eater, and there's a saying that many will use, you know, eat to live. And I've asked a few, like, okay, eat to live, but to live to do what? Like just to continue breathing? Or, all right, now I'm in shape, I feel good, I'm alive, but now what? What am I doing? Am I just continuing to eat and worry about my health? Focus on not having a heart attack? Or am I going to actually live? And that's sort of what this is. Like we're going through all these changes, we're having all these experiences, karmic completion in all kinds of areas of our life, things that we never thought we'd cease to deal with, they're going away, people that we never thought would be out of our lives are leaving. And then it's like, okay, for what though? Am I still not going to jump at the opportunities being presented at me? Like the opportunity for the love of a lifetime, sacred marriage, sacred union? Am I going to sit it out or I'm going to dance? Divine couple. Recent past. Near future. Masculine's higher self. I don't know if you got to see yet the love reading for this week and the moon reading. The Taurus new moon reading, the masculine's higher self in both cases, true gem. Like he's real, the collective higher self of the masculine really focused on what matters in life, like what has value and worth, and of what he is himself is worthy. I thought that was really beautiful. What the feminine can do, the masculine can do, further advice from the universe, and the outcome. So if I didn't announce all the placements, it is divine couple, recent past, near future, masculine's higher self, blocks to the union, what the feminine can do, what the masculine can do, what the two can do for like further advice for the universe, from the universe for the two, and the outcome. Divine couple, Ice Queen. This, the energy of Venus, the goddess of love, not just love, abundance, beauty, popularity, you know, just everything that we strive to be as humans, confidence, right? This is exuding all that is wonderful or can be wonderful about a person. Venus currently in Gemini. So maybe that's why I was made to mention that, the fact that the masculine has been in this energy of true gem lately. In Gemini, which she rules, having prior to that left Taurus, which she rules, and entering Cancer toward the end of this week, which will put her in a place of deep, like one of her most loving places, right, of deep love and emotion. The two of you surrounded and represented by this energy as a couple. Recent past. Friendship. I love this. A foundation for what more we want. And you can see the wedding band here on this. I mean, it's not on the ring finger, but there's definitely a band like ring on this person's hand. So it's like developing more from a friendship. Near future. Dating queen. So a lot of options. This is very 3 of fire to me, this card. So it can be about abundance and opportunities coming your way, people presenting you with gifts, with showing you love, party of 3, 1, 2, 3 sort of thing. But also your creativity and popularity, making no mistake with it being crossing, you know, here crossing Venus. She's bolstering this. She's causing this. Masculine's higher self. Past life. So he's still in this place of dealing with some karmic issues. And maybe that is why karma is coming up, and fear, ego, that sort of thing coming up for him in the other spread too. Further to that, blocks to the union. Young male. The first thing I heard was child. I don't know if it's specifically a son, but somebody may have a child that's, or children, that are making it difficult for them to, one or both of you, making it difficult for you to, I guess, make the choices that you would otherwise make for yourself. Maybe that's where the control comes in, the feeling of restriction. Like I can't, I can't do certain things. I'm trapped, I'm stuck because I have kids. In addition to that, I mean, I don't know the ages, you know, if there's an age difference here or not. But that can sometimes be the case too. When this card shows up, that there's an age difference. Like I said, I first heard child though. In addition to that, it also, for me, tends to be connected to the mutable signs. So again, Gemini, Pisces, Sagittarius, maybe that's with fire, and Virgo. What can the feminine do here? Communication. So I know she's reached out other times, and this may be the universe saying try again. Also being receptive to communication. If she's not the one to initiate it, you know, being receptive to it coming back. And then communication again is in all forms. So this can be telepathic, this can be dreams, this can be new. Even that we have to be receptive to. We can close ourselves off to stuff, you know, with our attitude and our you know, any type of negative energy of emotion that we allow to seep in as well. So this is about focusing on the positive and being open to and receptive. What can the masculine do? Or does he want to? Children. Okay, here's another party of three. 1, 2, 3. It's sitting next to this party of three. It's sitting underneath the young male where I heard child. So a few different things coming from here. I do think he has a family situation that he needs to figure out. And maybe he is. I was just made to remember the inner child card that he had selected for himself on the other spread. So maybe he is presently working on that now. In addition to that, when this card comes up for me, it's about like new beginnings. It comes through sort of Empress-like, which would also be Venus. Right? Venus is the Empress, as far as I'm concerned. So it too is about abundance. It too is about new starts, new beginning. Can be connected to this. Maybe he needs to come up with creative ways to be happy himself, but also fair to his children. If he, I don't even know if he has any for a fact, but that's what I'm getting. And I tend not to be wrong. Actually, I don't think I ever have. Not that not to brag. Just it is what it is. You know, by grace. Coming up with creative ways where everybody can be happy. It's fair. It's a fair and just, feasible and harmonious outcome for everybody. What does the universe have to say further to them? Travel. So we should revisit. According to the universe, we should revisit. And again, this can be literal too. This can be about traveling back and forth as well. Cards, you know, they tend to have more than one meaning in the spread. That's why I get like pulled back to the same one again. I got to say something else. Several meanings in each card. And the outcome. Open relationship. I like this. I don't feel that this is very immediate though. I think it's an outcome. It's further down the line after this stuff has been worked out. But it would be, of course, about celebrating a relationship that is out in the open, as opposed to the typical literal term open relationship, what it means in the 3D, because a divine union is already an open relationship as it relates to the 3D definition. We're already in this, we're tied together in this relationship that is not even of our own design or making or agreement sometimes. It is of the divine. And so we have separate lives too. They sometimes involve other relationships, whole marriages and children and all that kind of stuff. But, the connection remains. That's an open relationship, So as it relates to divine unions and the 5D, open relationship, is instead, tends to come through to me to read as a relationship that is out in the open, that we're no longer fearful of, embarrassed of, not that we go around telling everybody and their mother, we can, but this just means that we've released the restriction from ourselves, and like we've stepped out of the closet, whatever that means for us as an individual. All right, so I'm going to the Angel Tarot, beginning with the Knight of Air, who's intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless. And again, maybe somebody's an air sign in this situation. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options so you can come up with creative solutions. I just talked about that. I said the children card was telling me that he needed to come up with creative ways to incorporate all the things he wanted into his life in it. So he may be the Knight of Air, or taking on this energy of the Knight of Air to take it on. He's instructed by the universe to take it on so that he can do this. The Knight of Air is a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, or somebody likened to those traits or attributes. Sun, Moon, or Rising. And opening to the Two of Earth. Too much going on at once. There's a need to make a decision. Consider a more playful approach. So I mentioned the mutable signs too. It's taking on the energy of the mutable signs when you're talking about being playful. You're being youthful. Gemini, Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius, right? The more youthful, the more lighthearted. Opening to the Two of Fire from there. A lot of twos. Twos are about partnership. They're also about faith. You've come into your own. New partnerships or contracts continue to move forward. The Two of Fire, of course, also the divine union, or quote unquote twin flame card of the tarot. Two of Earth. And the Seven of Earth. Seeds well planted. A temporary pause in action. An unnecessary worry. So if you've been paranoid and because you don't see anything sprouting, we know how growth works and how sprouting works. We plant seeds. We don't immediately see flowers. That doesn't mean that flowers aren't growing in the ground. We know they are, right? It's elementary. So that's what this card is saying to you too. Two of Earth. And the Nine of Water. Your wish comes true. Concerns fade away and you have a love of life. So this is your second sort of prayers answered, wishes granted, dreams coming true kind of card too, because you actually had the answered prayer card in the first spread. Nine of Water and the Chariot with Archangel Metatron, card, major card of victory. An important achievement, self-discipline and willpower, public recognition. The Chariot can also be about travel. We've seen that travel card pop up a number of times. Travel, movement, moving, modes of transportation like planes, trains, automobiles, a combination of those, of all those things, some of those things. Also represents the sign of Cancer or other water sign. And now coming to the Dreamer with Archangel Metatron, which represents for me the signs of Gemini and Virgo, because this card, particularly in this deck, represents the sign of the planet, rather, Mercury, which rules those two. It is the Fool in the traditional tarot. A leap of faith. So I just mentioned the word faith too. Follow your dreams. That leads to unexpected opportunities. I just looked over at the clock and it's 2:22. So after seeing all those twos, it's 2:22 in the afternoon. The overall energy is the Three of Air. It's another party of three. Of course, this one connected to pain, loss, someone having been hurt. Okay, this can be indicative of separation too. Great sadness. Take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. That can be where fear steps in too. Like where there's fear can cause that inability to forgive and inability to seek forgiveness. Like, I can't call her, I can't talk to her or him, after what I did, after the pain I caused. But that's our own ego, protecting our own selves. Like, I don't want to have to face that music. Right? So that's ego. Crown the masculine is the Emperor with Archangel Michael. Organization and logic, structure and discipline. The Emperor can be a father. Maybe that's why the children popped up before. Again, we're going back to that. It could be representative of his father or some sort of authority, or just the need and the fact that somebody's like taking ownership of their own life, and they're no longer going to like hand over the reins or control, of anything that they're doing to somebody else. They're taking the leadership role in their own lives. The Emperor represents the planet Mars for me, ruler of Aries and Scorpio. And speaking of Aries and Scorpio, the Knight of Fire surrounds the masculine. The Knight of Fire is passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and restless. And he too is an Aries or Scorpio, possibly. Can also be a Leo, a Sagittarius, or anyone likened to the traits and attributes of a Knight of Fire, a Prince Charming, right, to the rescue. A sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. The masculine subconscious is the Knight of Earth, who is loyal, dedicated, honorable, and kind. The Knight of Earth is very, slow and steady wins the race. He's the tortoise in the hare. He's the tortoise. The tortoise wins, but although he was slow, because he's calculated, he makes a plan. How's he going to get to the end? Whereas the Taurus, the hare rather, is more like half-cocked and just takes off running. Time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments. You have a guardian angel. The Knight of Earth is a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Crowning the feminine is the Queen of Water, who's tenderhearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. Relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. So we've heard this message during this reading already about trusting and paying attention to your intuition. Continue to do that. But we've also seen the message and received the message of the continued growth. And that's what this shows too. We just continue to grow to a new level. As individuals and a couple. And it brings joy and happiness. The Queen of Water is a Scorpio, perhaps again, Pisces or Cancer, or someone likened to these traits or attributes. Surrounding the feminine, it is release or death, which also represents the sign of Scorpio, or perhaps another water sign. But yeah, directly Scorpio. The end of a phase or situation. Spiritual transformation. It's time to move on. And in the feminine subconscious, the King of Water. So definitely, the cards showing up here to say, yep, you're doing a reading about a couple. As if if I didn't know already, I would know that this is a love reading. It's a reading about a couple. And here's the couple. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice and charity work, which is love. The King of Water is trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. And like the Queen, and the Death card is a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Wow. So I talked about in the first spread, like an era having ended for you and you embarking upon a new one. That can definitely be what death is about and why death is here. Again, the continued growth. And sitting here underneath the Queen of Water, which is also representative of continued growth, as I just mentioned, I think that is why death is here. Very nice. Crowning, awesome. It's the Moon with Archangel Haniel. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. So not just the masculine, both of you. Got any fear that's preventing you from moving forward, that would become a block to your progress, let it go. Focus on letting it go. Ask the new moon for help in letting it go. If you so choose. The moon represents, like the Queen of Water and the King of Water, the sign of Pisces, Scorpio, or perhaps another Cancer, rather. I was going to say another water sign. Cancer is the only one remaining. The sign of Cancer. The actual moon in the sky, Earth's moon, does rule the sign of Cancer. So it could definitely be that too. At the root, the King of Fire, motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, 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 and communicate with vision. Be a leader and take advice from someone creative. Here's the leader here. King of Fire, like the Knight and the Emperor, is perhaps an Aries, a Scorpio, Leo, or Sagittarius. A lot of players here. A lot of like characters, because court cards tend to represent actual people. I mean, it could be the same person over and over, you know, especially with considering sun, moon, and rising signs. But there appears to be a lot of characters on the table. The heart of the matter. The Nine of Earth. Enjoying life's little luxuries. Spending quiet time alone and successful self-employment. Indicative of the two of you taking your lives by the reins, individually, respectively, and continuing to move forward. Beautiful. Also, I just got the message, if this hurt applies to you and you're holding on to any of this, deaf to that too. You got to let go of that as well. And I say all the time, sometimes we have to accept the apologies we've never gotten, and they perhaps we're not going to get. You may have to do that too. Going to the Doreen Virtue Romance Angels, I'm beginning with playfulness, which is more this sort of lighthearted energy, the type that tends to be connected to the mutable signs. Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, this youthful. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine, being lighthearted, not uptight, right? Letting go of any of that. Deaf to all of that. Religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. This can be very literal and be connected to religiosity, but also any sort of ideology that, you know, and belief systems that we have that prevent us from moving forward, that prevent us from taking control of our own lives. We live, you know, as a conformist instead, and about what society says. All those things fall into the bracket of religious factors. To the more positive, for me, religious factors sometimes shows up, or I connected with just the divinity of the relationship. You know, I connected to the fact that it's a sacred marriage. You know, it's a sacred union. Religion. Religious factors. And worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. Slow and steady wins the race. Religious factors. Heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. More communication. Religious factors. And new love, that new start that we talked about. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. Religious factors. And also healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents, but not just your parents. Any and everybody who's so impactful upon your life that you cannot move forward, you know, without sort of their permission or healing the relationship that, you know, connected to them. You have to fix that. You know, it's either repairing the relationship if that's possible and what you want to do, or walking away from it. But we can't just allow it to keep holding us back. Again, I would think this most applies to the masculine, since I felt a family healing, or the need for the healing of a family issue connected to him. But this can be, you know, for either or both of you. Religious factors. And free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life, right? That's what the Emperor does. This can be specifically for him connected to that family. And, you know, one of the things that religiosity says and that society says, like, we have to try to force these relationships with our, you know, spouses or parent, the other parent of our child. We got to try to force a relationship to work, even when and where it doesn't. And And that's not true. It's just not true. And what we're here to do is to only accept and speak and believe and seek what is true. This is a time, a universal time of doing away with falsehoods, false premises, and, you know, to restore freedom and life to the planet and its inhabitants. Worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. And the overall energy is trust. I thought I saw an orb, like I felt like I was going to crash into it. Of course, you can't crash into something that's like translucent, but you know, in that moment, I was like, oops. Anyway, this situation is calling for you to have faith. So here's that again. Crowning the masculine atop the emperor is religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. I feel that he's being tied. This is probably why I was made to speak of. I don't know if he's been married. As a matter of fact, I think I do know that. I think he has been married. Anyway, I'll just go back to I don't know if he has been or not. But that's what I'm getting. That there are religious factors in that regard. Like you have to try to force a family. And he does not. The emperor shows up to say that you can take the lead role again in your own life. You hold the reins and you can't be manipulated, you know, or forced to live in a way that's uncomfortable to you, that's stunting your growth. Atop the Knight of Fire is attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. This card is about the law of attraction. So you put out this kind of positive energy. It's about pursuing your passions, thoughts and of your passions in a positive light, speaking positive things over your life. I have this, I have that, I am this, I am that. And that's what brings, that's what's going to show up. Atop the Knight of Earth. Free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life, masculine. So again, going back up to this part, whether it is a family, like an immediate family, as in he is, you know, the quote unquote father, and, you know, there's a mother and there's kids or whatever, or this is connected to his own childhood or both. Just whatever was restricting him in the earthly, holding him back. And this Taurus, Uranus and Taurus period is going to be a major time to, again, work on those things. And sort of being pushed to work on them whether we want to or not. He's got to like take his life back, basically. Atop the Queen of Water. Right? All this love and emotion and the relationship going, relationships developing to a new level. Why? Calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. That's the law of attraction working. Atop release or death. Let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. So rather than holding on to stuff that you don't know how to let go, and harboring it, continuing on your healing path and seeking out those who can help you to do that, whether it be on this plane and like somebody like me, or, you know, an alternate plane and maybe like the angels, the God, the universe, whatever, and whatever you believe, asking for support from the universe one way or another in helping you to let go and to transition and to go through that gateway. Atop the King of Water, where we're supposed to show love. Charity work is love. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership in whatever way you're able to do that. Even if that just means working on you. Work on your partnership doesn't necessarily, I mean, if you can connect with the masculine, awesome. But it doesn't necessarily mean that. Work on your partnership is continuing to do things like this, to work on you. And what do I have to what do I need to let go? Or how am I blocking myself from making this transition, making this transformation that the energy of death represents? That's working on your partnership too, because if you fix that, you fix you, and the issues that are preventing the two of you from coming together on your end, then you've worked on your partnership. Crowning atop the moon. Release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. And I think for you, it's letting go of, again, old stuff, baggage, things that are blocking you from making the transformation. And I think for him, it's more literal and immediate. And there's a person, an actual, that, you know, potential whole family that he needs to, I'm not saying stop speaking to your family, especially if he's the father in that family, and we're talking about an immediate family, but cutting the negative cords that still remain, that have, and then the negative emotions too, those things like the fear that showed up, cutting that out so that the law of attraction can work for him too. And that's not to say that your, whatever it is that you're dealing with doesn't stem from an old relationship too, whether it's an ex-partner or some sort of other former, you know, person that was in your life, you know, growing up or whatever, like the Six of Cups, sort of that, you know, past life connection. I'm not saying that that's not from where your concerns may stem to. I just feel that there's a more immediate situation, like an actual person on this side. At the root, atop the King of Fire, it's safe for you to love. So regardless and despite these past experiences, it's, you know, we don't have to be fearful. The masculine indicating he was fearful. We don't have to be fearful. It is safe for us to love and to move on. So you're guided here to open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. And it's atop the King of Fire, which is a representation of the divine masculine, specifically in the tarot. So this can be, you know, it's for both of you, it's sitting here, but it can be a special message for him also, since he expressed that fear. Or that fear was expressed on his behalf, in his regard. At the heart of the matter, atop the Nine of Earth, passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. So why are we going within? Why the need to go within? Why the need to spend time with ourselves, getting to know, like, and even love ourselves? Because that's what's going to help us to not only allow our heart and soul to sing with joy, but to do so because we're able to love other people properly too. Two wanted to come out. You saw it. So he got two. Again, it's recorded live. What are we going to do? Okay. Further advice to the masculine. Miracles, right? They do happen. Even when we feel stuck, there's nothing that the universe can't help us to accomplish. For you, more of this energy of creativity and working on new beginnings. More of this energy of fire signs, air signs, and water signs all coming together. Aquarius, the water bearer, standing here before us with this star on her head. The moon behind us, Pisces, Cancer. Again, Pisces, this water bearer standing in a pool of water surrounded by translucent fish that are jumping out at her. And then this fiery red body and wings definitely gives us that energy of fire and passion and pursuing our passions and coming up with creative ways that we can do so. This is a card of abundance as well. The masculine also getting advice of true love and like following your heart toward your true love, you know, to where that leads. Again, he got 2 from here. Also fun times. So if you get the choice to sit around or dance, I hope you dance, right? This is engaging in life. For you, passion, 2 of these cards about pursuing your passions. So whatever those are, not just related to the union, and whatever those are, like in career and hobby and, you know, things you like to do, not letting anything hold you back anymore. Releasing everything, right? Deaf to anything that would restrict you. From the angels to the masculine, the 8 of earth, skilled work is rewarded. Learning all there is to know about a topic and maybe even going back to school. So this can be related to just life experience, right? That's the work. We're putting in work and we come up with experiences, and that's learning. We learn something new. But it can be about an actual vocation, a career, some sort of opportunity for him. Basically, in whatever regard, however it applies, or the multiple ways it may apply, it is about getting out what we put in, or receiving payment, recognition, accolade for our work. The 7 of earth is about planting seeds. This is about reaping them, right? Reaping what we've sown. So similar to attraction, the law of attraction card. We put this work in, we put this effort in, we get it back. For you, the Queen of Fire, all this fire energy surrounding you. Queen of Fire is confident, warm, intelligent, and graceful. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourselves. This is about picking up your confidence. Sort of like that card that you got in the other spread, the dating queen, right? About feeling good, looking good, being popular. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and your creativity. So there's definitely something that you're being guided to work on in a creative way, pursuing your passions, coming up with creative ways of living, living how you want to live. The masculine, deception. Someone's wearing a false self mask in this relationship. And I think it's anytime he allows himself to be forced to live other than how he wants to live. I'm saying these are for you to how you want to live. Anytime he allows himself to be forced to, you know, do something other than what is feeling natural to him and receiving and giving the highest energy of all love, he's kidding himself, right? That's the deception there. I'll pull another card for him too, though, of what else that could be applied. And for you, this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek, but I think that's been evident already. So we'll take one more card for the masculine, the next upright one. I wanted to make sure that trust was upright. Yep, what I say. This is about denying himself the feelings and not denying himself the ability and opportunity to live and love how he wishes. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. Stop lying to yourself, kidding yourself. I hope that you guys, or you specifically, my dear, enjoy your reading, and anybody else that views it. I've been doing so many personal readings, and I haven't been posting them lately. I don't know. I just feel like I've had so many readings to post, and I'm like, everything's going to get all jumbled up. But maybe I will. Maybe that was my cue to share this with others. I hope that you, most specifically, but also anybody else that views it, enjoys it and finds it helpful. Namaste, angels.
My feet won't touch the ground.